Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Matriarchal Voices. We have someone very special with us here today from India. Her name is Rochi Kaye, and she's an author. She wrote a book, and she also has worked for NGOs for women's education. And she also interned for a while in a women's prison while she was writing her dissertation. So she had basically seen a lot of things and learned so much, and she's here to share all of that with us today. And she's a very strong supporter of matriarchy, and plus she's also we can call her a driving force behind modern feminism causes. She is going to teach us so much, and so I hope that you stay tuned until the end. And now, without any further delay, here is Rochi. Hi, Rochi.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. So excited.
So, Rochi, do you want to start by telling us about what inspired your book and what you wrote about, so our audience can get to know, like, your background a bit?
Yeah, so what inspired my book was my love for women, as in feminism, and also Taylor Swift. So it is like a child of my love for Taylor Swift and feminism both. I've just took her life as a base on how the society reacts to women who are basically rich and who don't look like the perfect victims, but they are in a lot of ways, and how society reacts to them. So I've just taken her life as a base and then spoken about it mostly in
Did
the
you
book.
write it like as a kind of project, or was it like a novel kind of book, or
No,
how?
no, it is a non-fiction book, like a journalistic work, essay, just very, very, very elongated essay about Taylor Swift and her life
Okay.
and feminism. That's it. It is very basic feminism. I'm not wrote about intense theories because I feel like a lot of people, when we are trying to indoctrinate them in feminism, I think we need to give them very basic understanding, not because they're stupid, but just so that they get interested.
Yeah, I know, because like feminism is something that has been misunderstood right
Yeah,
along, I feel.
yeah,
And I think that anything that we can do to help people understand like what we are really trying to say and what we are really supporting is a step in the right direction. So, what can you tell us about like what you've learned about feminism and how it has changed over the years?
okay. So, when I was very, very young, I was a very vocal feminist, like from when I was 16, 17 years old. But I had the internet. It was not like what it is today, but I still used to follow feminist pages and comment on them. And then once I remember when I was 17, I had a private Instagram ID and I got fully attacked by one MRA page. Like they
Mhm.
took my that DP from that little circle and my name, and thankfully Insta took it down after a few hours, but till then a lot of their followers had gotten my username and my picture, so they fully attacked me, like DM'd me and stuff like that. So then and foolishly I tried to explain them, oh no, I
Okay.
don't mean this, and they were calling me all kinds of slurs, and I was trying to explain to them that why I commented this on this, because I believed, I thought I'll just convince them like that, but then I realized it is not the way to go.
What
And
do you mean by MRA page? I'm sorry, I haven't heard the
sorry,
term before.
sorry, I'm really sorry, men's rights activist pages.
Ah, okay.
There are pages who are against feminism, but they are against women. They just post very, very hateful things.
Okay.
And I don't know from where they found my ID, I guess from the comments, and then they attacked it. So that made me go very, very like deep into feminism. Before that, I was very casual with it. Like, okay, no one should rape, no one should take down. Very, very simple. But after that, I was like, no, I need to get into it. I need to read theories and I need to go deep into it. So that is how I like started reading more about it and getting into it a lot more after that.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So that experience would have been like really horrifying for you, I guess. Like,
Yeah,
how
as a
bad did it get? Did you
17-year-old,
get like a lot of hate from other people as well after they posted about you?
Yeah. All their followers came into my DMs. All of their
Okay.
followers. They were a big page, and I had a private Instagram at that time. They were a big page. So yeah, so they just came in and started slaying slurs. Basically, no one had said those kinds of slurs to me before that.
Mhm.
Right, it was horrible, but also in a way, because of that experience, I got into feminism. Like I started reading more and talking to other people more. So yeah, I would say it was a good thing, I guess.
Yeah. Is it after that that you decided to go to NGOs and work on women's education and try to support women more? Was it after all that?
You can say it made it stronger, but I don't know if you remember the Nirbhaya case that happened in Delhi. It was very famous, and I think that it changed a lot of women in India. Like that made a lot of women feminists. Like that particular incident made a lot of women feminists. So I was sensitive towards feminism from that time. I was very young. I was in school. From that time only, I was sensitive about feminism. But obviously, this happened personally to me. It was not as horrible, obviously, but this when this happened to me, I was like, no, I have to get into it. We just can't exist as women. We can't exist apolitically as women. Everything we do is political. Just our existence is political. So we have to study it. We have to do something about it and convince other women also to join in. So that is how, yeah.
Do you think you can briefly tell our audience a bit about the story that you mentioned just now? Because I know a bit about it as well. I think
Okay.
Anjali also said that she knows, but maybe
Yeah.
there might be people who haven't heard it, and I think it might help some people.
Okay. So in 2012 December, in Delhi, there was a girl who was out at 10 p.m. She had gone to watch a movie with her friend or boyfriend. We don't know that, but it was a man, and she had gone out with him. And then at night, at 10 p.m. she was out. She was looking for autos and rickshaws, but they went not available. And then there was a bus, and the conductor in the bus said he'll take her to some destination wherever she asked for. And then her friend, her male friend, and she got into the bus, and she was gang raped in the bus very, very horribly, very, very brutal. Like it was one of the most brutal incidents of rape. It was all over the news. The outrage was so bad. In every city of India there were candle marches and protests and demands for safer India. There were also a lot of policies also came along after that. There's a Nirbhaya fund, which is a 100 crore fund that government gives for women. That includes a lot of things like one stop centers are centers which are with the hospital. And one stop center means that when a woman is raped or has faced any kind of abuse, she can just go there, and she'll find a police personnel there, a medical advisor, a psychologist, everyone just under one roof.
Okay.
All of these things come under Nirbhaya fund. And because of that incident, all of these things also happened. And now how much of it is functional, how much of that fund gets used is another story altogether.
That
But
happens.
yeah, so there's also a Netflix series on this incident, Delhi crime.
I
So if
watched that.
you want
I
to,
that's how I learned about it anyway. I didn't
yeah,
know about it
so
from the news. I think a lot of people would have learned about it from the TV series. And watching the TV series, it was really bad. So I can just
all-
imagine. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's one
Sorry?
incident. But
Yeah.
so how is feminism in India in general? I know that you all face a lot of problems.
Feminism in India, I am someone who is I'm not cynical, but the state of women in India, I don't think has gotten any better. I mean, people hide it. There are a lot of laws meant to protect women from different situations, But I don't think that it is my opinion. I don't think that we have had a proper wave of feminism in India. It is purely my opinion. Like there have been incidents like the Nirbhaya one, and then the Nirbhaya fund came. There was another incident in 1997, Bhavri Devi case. That was also a gang rape case. She was on duty. She was trying to protect a child from getting into child marriage.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from that, one act came, which is prevention of sexual harassment at the workplace, and it came in 2012 or 13. So there are different acts which are introduced to protect women, but not a proper movement. I don't think it has happened proper. Like we can say there was first wave in America during suffrage. I don't think that sort of wave has hit India yet. I mean, people might disagree, but it is just my opinion. We are just better at hiding things now, I think. But how much can you hide when there is just now there was a case where, and so I am from Chhattisgarh originally, and just now a Chhattisgarh High Court judge said that a woman, when she gets raped by her husband and she died, and she dies, the man is still not held accountable because there's no legal rape in India. There's no protection from legal rape in India for women. So just now, it is a trending news story that he walked away. The man walked away after killing his wife. He walked away. So this is the current state. I mean, obviously, we have made some progress, like I said, with the sexual harassment at the workplace and Nirbhaya Fund and Domestic Violence Act and all of this stuff. But I don't think that it is being implemented properly. Even today, I can't go out at night in Delhi. I can't go out. It is a fact. So, yeah, I don't know how much has changed, honestly.
I think that going out at night is like a universal problem for
Yeah,
women.
sure. Global.
Unless you're like in a party kind of city where there is nightlife going on. But even then, I know that women get
Yeah.
drugged and then taken into unwanted situations. So really, there is no escape from not being able to walk out at night.
There are safer cities as compared to like Delhi. For example, Mumbai is lot safer than Delhi, but it doesn't guarantee anything. It doesn't guarantee anything. Like just just going out at night is a privilege, a huge privilege that men just take for granted. But anyway,
I don't think they see it as a privilege. No? They just,
they don't see it. Yeah, but it is.
it's just like, oh, they don't see night and day,
Yeah,
basically.
sure.
So, what kind of small scale feminism is going on right now? Because I know that there are more and more people waking up to the problems that women are facing in India. So, I think that even you have been very vocal about it and you're working towards it. So, like, how is the progress? How difficult is it for you to do these things?
Small scale, obviously, there are always organizations set up for helping women, and they do help women for sure. Like this, there's one Apne Aap organization in Delhi. They help women. They rescue women from prostitution rings, and then they help women stand on their feet. There are small organizations, and then what we can do is, I think nowadays people have stopped convincing women into feminism. Like back during the first waves and the second waves, a lot of feminists would convince other women
Okay.
be feminist, to be in the movement. And I think right now we are very like, we just, I don't want to use the word, but we cancel the women who are not, who call themselves, I'm not a feminist, or they say anything negative. We don't try to take them in our movement. I think convincing should come back, make a comeback in the feminist movement. And I try to do that around me. Like I try to tell women, I like to give real life examples. Like, see, this is happening. This is not happening to a man, but this is happening to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it is nothing more than feminist if you acknowledge that. And then I think convincing was a huge part, and I think it should come back. And that is why I think I also wrote the book that I wrote, and I took Taylor Swift as a base because I know a lot of women and young girls listen to Taylor Swift and are Taylor Swift fans, and I am obviously one of them. And I think to more women, if more women read very very basic level of feminism, very very basic comparisons between how men are treated and women are treated, I think they'll be more interested in feminism rather than we just being hostile and acting like we know much more than them, and we are some sort of higher beings for being feminists before them or something like that.
Ah, okay, so that feminist ego coming in.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we should have that.
Yeah, so I won't consider myself like an expert on any of the topics. So I also know what you're talking about. Like, I
Mm.
feel like sometimes there are so many negative forces behind it. Like, there's so much stuff out there that can easily convince someone not to be a feminist. So I think
Yeah.
that is the biggest issue, because a lot of people make like very convincing points, like when you listen, if you don't actually have a working knowledge of like what's really going on, a small video, a certain post, you see something can easily throw you off the rails.
Yeah.
So people who are on the fence about feminism are very easily derailed, I think, because of social media.
This is why I say don't depend on social media, depend on the older feminists.
Mm.
Like go back to what the first wave feminists were saying, the second wave feminists were saying, and listen to them. Then I think your opinions are strong and you're confident in your opinions. You have better language to explain what you feel. And just one social media post can't convince you to be feminist or be anti-feminist.
Mhm. If you have a proper background.
Yeah, if you have a proper base, proper setup, and you know all the points, you know the negative points, you know the positive, you know everything, I don't think one social media post can convince you to be anything.
Yeah, but then it's not just one, because like you know how the algorithm works now.
Propaganda.
It'll start bombarding you with stuff like to convince you whatever you're trying to read. So what do you think was more effective? Do you think the first wave was more effective, or the second wave, or modern feminism? Like, how do you view it? Like, what do you think is better? What do you think worked, or has anything improved?
I think all the waves had different agendas.
Mm.
Like before first wave, we had proto-feminists. We used to call them proto-feminists. This is before first wave. Like women used religion. They would make convents and try to build something women focused.
Mhm.
So we can't ignore them also. Like there was Mary Wollstonecraft who wrote Vindication of Rights of Women.
Mhm.
I think you've heard of that text.
Yeah.
So that it came before the first wave. And if we start from there, women were always feminists in that definition, right? They were always trying to do something for women as a group. Then when first wave came around, we all know it was about the right to vote, suffrage. So we can't say that wave was better or was worse. It had it fulfilled its duties. The
Okay.
agenda was to get right to vote, and they got it.
Mhm.
And a lot of people think first wave feminism. When I talk to people about first wave feminism, almost everyone knows it was about right. It was about the right to vote, but they think it was some cutesy, fun protest where women were like, "Yeah, I need the right to vote," and then they got it. The men were like, "Yeah," but people don't know that women have died in prisons. They
Mhm.
have fought so hard for the right to vote. It was dangerous for them to speak out. There was a lot of propaganda against them. And a lot of women at that time also were against feminism. It's not just the men. Women were also like saying, we don't want the right to vote. Our husband can decide. One vote for the family and stuff like that. There were a lot of posters against them, but they still did it, right? They did not
Yeah.
need all women, they needed a lot of women. And so, yeah, this image of cutesy protest, it's cutesy and they just asked for a right to vote and they just got it. That is not true. Women have suffered very much just to get the right to vote. And so, obviously, we will say that the first wave was successful in that way, if you look at it that way,
Mhm.
right? We will say it was successful. Then second wave, before second wave, I think second wave, it is accepted that started around 1950s and 60s. But what happened was a lot of men were coming back from World War II,
Mm.
and all the women who had assumed their roles, all the male roles when men were gone, they had to go back to their housework, and they had to go back to kitchen, and they had to go back home, take care of the children. They could no longer hold those positions. But obviously, once you have went outside, once you have felt that freedom of like being outside, earning money, talking to other women, they did not want to go back inside.
Mm.
And then they were like, no, now we can't go. You can't just throw us anywhere you want.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you doing?
Yeah. So that time there was this book, The Feminine Mystique.
Okay.
Have you heard of it?
No, no, no.
You have
I
not?
haven't.
Okay. It is a
No.
very famous feminist book, and a lot of people say that that book triggered the second wave.
Okay. Was it written about how they were trying to push women back into the
Yeah.
households?
So
Okay.
it was about a lot of things. It was about the education of it. Let me think. Author was Betty. Was Betty Friedman was the author, and she wrote about a lot of things. She actually went and interviewed all of her ex-college mates, classmates, who were now housewives.
Okay.
And she interviewed them, and then she found out that none of them were happy being housewives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there was the problem. She called it the problem that has no name. It was the despair that all of the women were feeling being inside. She critiqued a lot of things. She critiqued education system. She was like, give women also equal rights in education. She critiqued a lot of things like just so societal norms, the traditional roles. She basically, her idea was that doing household chores and being housewife should not be a career aspiration for women. That is what she argued.
Like
And
women shouldn't be like
out
dreaming of being
yes,
housewives.
exactly.
Okay.
They should not be dreaming of being housewives. They
Mm.
should want to go outside, and she criticized all of these aspects. And this book till today is very famous. If you have not read it, I think you should definitely go through it. You
I
don't have
will.
to read it cover to cover. You can pick the parts that you like. You can leave
So
it.
it's like it's not a continuous story.
No, no, it is not a story. It is a non-fiction book.
Okay.
She also founded an organization which fought for equality, but the dissent was so much that she also had to resign from her post.
Okay.
And yeah, so that is how I think the second wave began. I mean, I don't think it. Most people believe that is how second wave started hitting, because women were just tired. They wanted more than just the right to vote, right? They wanted to go outside also. And in second wave we also got a lot of things like birth control,
Uh-huh.
and the Equal Rights Amendment Act in America was very popular. It did not pass, but it was very popular demand of women at that time. And also what happened was, at this time feminists entered the academia, and all
Okay.
the theories started coming out, the feminist theories that we talk of. So now there was liberal feminism, there was radical feminism, there was socialist feminism. Everyone was like, because women were entering education, they were doing PhDs, they were writing.
They were getting better.
Yeah,
They
they
suddenly
had
they were
stories.
suddenly they were taking over. They started
Yeah.
becoming a problem.
Now that we have this much theories and literature to read, imagine we didn't have any of it, we would not have been talking about it right now.
I know. So this feminism has got like so much, like it has achieved so much, but
Yeah.
still people like don't understand it, and people still like to joke about it, like to think that it's a game,
Yeah.
and that is like really sad, I think,
Yeah.
because
This is why I'm passionate about the history. I'm like,
yeah,
please learn the history. It is not about the memes.
I know the memes are taking over. That's the whole issue. Like they're allowing people to ridicule it, like not to understand it properly, not to really get an idea about what it's all about. It's just that that word has become,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
It
become
just
an
makes
insult basically. It has
yeah.
turned into an insult.
It was used as an insult always.
Mm.
They would call, even during the suffrage, they would call women, oh, these are just ugly lesbian feminists. And they were always looked at like that.
Yeah. So what we are trying to do, and what I know you are trying to do, is we're trying to give everyone like a proper idea of what it really means and why we're trying to like bring feminism up and matriarchy up, because
Yeah. I just
it's
wanted
not
to
just
make
hurting
it
the women,
fun.
right?
I want it to be fun. I don't want it to be all serious. But that does not mean it's just memes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
And
mean like
sorry.
when are people going to realize that it's not just women who are going to benefit from this? That is what I that
I
is the
mean,
main
they are
thing. Yeah.
enjoying their life. What can we say?
Yeah. No, I mean like the male loneliness epidemic and all these things are all because
I
of their own.
don't believe it's true. Sorry. I just feel like if they change their ways, they'll find women. If they change their ways a little bit, they'll find women. And in India,
Exactly.
when they say male loneliness epidemic, I'm like, why are you killing female babies then? You are
That
like
still
female,
happens.
yeah, yeah, female feticide, female infanticide. Every time you hear a story of a baby found in trash, it'll always be a female.
Like
Yeah,
why? Why still? I mean, it's
it's all linked, no? Then it is hard to raise a girl. Then you have to give dowry. It's a liability.
then
So
someone should be like looking at removing the dowry system instead of like getting rid of the girls.
they're trying very hard, but it's not happening. Now they call it gifts.
Hmm. I think misnaming things, renaming things, and trying to cover things up is like the biggest crime, bigger than patriarchy and genocide. Like we rename something to make it sound better and then pretend that it never happened.
But this renaming is also very like official and stuff like that. In reality, people still call it dowry only.
Hmm.
Just legally they can't call it, but if you are in the family, like last year only I went to a wedding, and when we entered, they had this huge car on display.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was gift from like the bride to the groom's family or the groom, whatever. They still have these huge displays still, but everyone knows it's dowry, but they just will not say it officially. They'll not say it, but in family gatherings when people are sitting chatting, everyone knows it's Dahej basically.
So what do you think we should start doing? I mean, I'm not, I'm working at Matriarchy Times. I'm working for them, with them. But I know that I'm not doing as much as you are in terms of trying
I'm not
to.
doing anything.
No, I mean, like, even you're writing, you wrote a book. I mean, that's more than what a lot of people have done. You actually took that passion for trying to make a change, trying to make a difference, and you put it into words. You wrote a book, published it, and I'm looking forward to reading it actually. And I just want to know, like, what is something small that people can start doing to start being more supportive to feminism and trying to like help other women? And what is a small thing that you suggest people can start doing?
I honestly think the smallest thing is obviously in today's culture, don't immediately cancel a woman if she says something that is just one thing that is a little bit out of line according to you.
Mhm. Like, try to
So,
listen.
yeah, try to listen a bit. If nothing, try to create a space around yourself that is safe, right? At least someone near you should know that you are a safe space. And we often hear people saying just randomly, oh, I'll be there. But what are you doing for it,
Okay.
right? You have to make sure you say something when someone is making a misogynistic joke. I always don't confront a misogynistic joke, but my friends know I'm uncomfortable with it because I'll say it. I'll
Mhm.
say that I'm uncomfortable. So whenever something happens, they know I'm the one who will believe them. I'm the one who will listen to them.
Okay. Like,
Yeah.
you are someone who they can trust, basically.
Yeah, and don't don't just cancel women on the internet also just because they said one thing that is wrong. You can disagree with women, but you don't have to unfollow them at every point. Try to follow more women than men. Try to consume more media made by women than men. If you read books, try to read more women's books. If you watch movies, try to watch more movies made by women, so
Mm.
that I think your mind is also work. Whatever we watch affects us so much, but we don't accept it. I think, and in 2024 I tried to only read women, and now in 2025 if I start reading a book I can tell if it is written by a man or a woman,
Okay.
because they describe things so differently. The way they look at world is so different. Try to be more female focused in every way. Read more women. If you're good at writing, start writing. If you watch a lot of movies, try to watch more movies with women. Try to surround yourself with women. And most importantly, build self respect. I think a lot of things will change for women if they build self respect, because the self respect is so low wherever I go. A lot of women, they just don't want to come in front and they don't want to speak, and they are constantly thinking about how they are looking and how this happened. And I'm just like, give it up, just be confident in yourself, try to build your self respect. A lot of things fall into place when women are confident. Like this, just completely stop taking shit when they are confident. To build your confidence, try to build other women's confidence. That is, I think, enough. Everyone does not have to be an activist and open organizations. Everyone even can't do that. I can't do that. I can't open organizations because obviously I have to earn money and I have to do other things. Just I think these things are fine. And the most important thing that I believe in is start convincing women. I know it sounds very hectic, and if obviously if it is taking a toll on you, don't do it. Try to microdose feminism to women, like, oh, that man was staring, it does not feel nice, or just microdose them into.
Okay.
Yeah, I do that, and I think women have stopped doing that. So I think we should do that. As feminists, it is our job to bring more women into feminism.
It's it's like a real big responsibility, I think, for people who actually know the truth to tell other people. But then there are circumstances where we want to tell them, but they are so convinced in the other way that we sound stupid trying to tell them something.
Some people you can't do it.
Yeah. Like, they make you feel stupid, and then you start second guessing yourself, and you're like, did I say something wrong? Did I say the right thing? Like, what about women who are actively against feminism? Like, do you think there's any, like, I don't know, like, what the reason is? Like, I can't think of any reason that someone would be against it, because to be against something, you should know about it. Like, you can't be against something if you don't know about it. So these women who are against feminism, they actually must be knowing something about it. So what was it that made them feel like this is not something good? That's something that really confuses me always.
Very hard to get into their heads. The men also know that these women are stupid. What, like, I'm just like, just laugh it off. What can we do? Like, what are you going to tell them? Like, I think we don't need all women. I think we need a lot of women together.
Mhm.
In any moment, in any wave, we always know that there were women opposing that. There were women opposing right to vote. There were women opposing all of these achievements that feminist movement has achieved. Women will oppose it, and we have to accept it. And we just have to move forward believing that we need a lot of women. We don't need all women, because all women are never going to be feminists. That is what we I have accepted. I've seen also, this is why when I was reading stuff, and then I realized that there were a lot of opponents and dissenters of this book that I told you, The Feminine Mystique.
Mm.
A lot of dissenters were women of that book. They opposed this book, and they said, we didn't don't believe in stuff like this. We want to be housewives. We are happy to have children. We feel content being inside our homes. And they were women. But at today's time, when we are talking about it, we are talking about the book, right? We are talking about how that is a important feminist text. We're not talking about them. We're not talking about the dissenters. So I think we have to look at things like that. We have to work like that, believing that we will be more relevant later.
Okay, I'm going to ask you something. I don't know if you can answer it or not, but I think it will help a lot of people if you can. So now you mentioned that there are women who say, I like being housewives, I like having children, I'm not a feminist. Like, what is the, can you not do all those things and be feminist also? Like, is
Can be.
that's what have wanting to have kids doesn't mean that you're not a feminist, right? You can still
Yeah.
be a feminist. So why have people like put it in black and white? Why are they saying like you're either a feminist or you're a housewife? Why has that happened? Why do you think that has happened?
I think because obviously earlier it was forced on women. Earlier, being a housewife was something that was non-negotiable for women. They had to be housewives.
Mhm.
Then when feminists said, no, you can't just be a housewife, you women are meant for a lot more than that. They can do other things. They have other interests, and other things will satisfy them. They can't just be restricted to domestic slavery. Basically, it is what that is. So now at this point, personally, I never suggest women be housewives. And if they are housewives, I feel like they should have some amount of money or some resources in their name separately from their husband's bank account or their father's bank account. A separate sum of money I feel like they should have. If they are choosing to be housewives, they need to be smart about it.
Mhm.
But then I think because of that notion, because of how feminists always said that no, you just can't just be housewives. Women are much more than that. I think because of that, the notion that feminists don't like women who have kids, or feminists don't like housewives, I think it came from there. But in reality, I think feminists work for all women, so it does not matter if you want to have kids. Feminists, especially radical feminists, are the only people I see who talk about mothers the most, the problems of mothers and pregnancy. And feminists also bought in the maternity leave and paid maternity leaves.
Okay, so
Feminists.
that was also something that the feminists did.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Feminists called for paid maternity leave. So how can they be against women being pregnant if they're asking for maternity leaves?
Mhm. Like, that doesn't come up as much as the fact that they asked for birth control. So I think it's how the
Yeah.
media has highlighted one thing more than the other that's causing all these problems with people's opinions.
Yeah, I think most things about feminism are not highlighted, or they're highlighted in a very wrong way.
Mm.
So, I mean, they'll do it because they don't benefit from feminism, right? They'll do that. They'll misquote the feminists. They'll highlight some things. They'll push certain narratives. It is, I think, our job to counter them.
So now that we know like there are different types of feminism, like you mentioned, like do you think you could tell us a little bit about what's the difference between the radical feminists and the liberal feminists?
Yeah. So, we'll go back to the second wave for a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Then we went back to like the women entering academia and making theories and stuff like that. So what happened? Feminism split up a bit into different types, different categories. Liberal feminism was the one that talked about
Mhm.
equal rights between men and women. I think I mentioned about the Equal Right Amendment.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that they were bringing out. So liberal feminists were huge champions of it. The oral contraception, like you said that also liberal feminists were championing. The radical feminism had different views on few things like porn, like prostitution, like surrogacy. So radical feminists were completely against the porn industry. They said that it is the recipe for rape. You're basically showing men how to rape. And they were against prostitution. They said women's bodies cannot be like bought and sold with respect to prostitution and surrogacy both. Radical that was what radical feminists believe. Liberal feminists believed in individual choice of women. Like if they believed if women wanted to do that, they should have the right to do that. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so when imagine radical feminism as the type of feminism that looks at women as a group and what is good for that group.
Okay.
Yeah.
So liberal feminists care about individuals.
Yeah. So they are like, okay, this is if this individual thinks this is good, then it is good for them. We can't question it. So there was also, I think you remember the bra burning feminists that everyone talks about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So there was no bra that was ever burned.
Okay.
Bra burning protest was actually a protest against Miss America pageant, and they were basically throwing things in the dustbin, all the things that oppresses them, like they were throwing makeup, they were throwing different things, and there was one journalist standing, and one woman took off her bra and threw it,
Okay.
saying that that oppresses her. And then that the journalist wrote about that particular moment of her throwing bra, and that caught on. These are just extreme women burning bras, was said
I
about that.
told you this media is the
Yeah,
root cause of most of our issues.
yeah. And actually, there was no bra bond. Imagine my surprise when I'm looking at stuff and I'm realizing no one has ever burned any bra. And it
Really?
was just a
Yeah, I
plot.
mean they're expensive.
Yeah, who will burn them?
Yeah, I
No,
know.
like, just don't buy them. And yeah, so that caught on. And this protest was also during the second wave that time, and also against the Playboy magazine.
Mhm.
All these protests were going on. And this is what radical feminists stood for. They looked at women as a group. This thing empowers women, or this things doesn't empower, puts them in whatever disadvantage. And they were all about women as a group. Liberal feminists were about individual choice. And for a lot of companies, corporations, liberal feminism was more suited to their narrative, to their advantage, right?
Yeah,
Because
because then they can pick and choose what they want to.
yeah, then they can just sell stuff, right? And we just cannot criticize anything because woman likes it, so it's just that then. Or liberal feminists were okay to work with existing systems, and they were like, okay, just make this change, just make that change. But radical feminists were like, no, everything needs to be restructured.
Yeah, because they wanted to change for the greater
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, they were like, no, everything needs to be changed. So this is majorly the difference. I mean, if we go into details of porn and prostitution and surrogacy, that will take 1 hour each. So,
Okay, without
so
going in 1 hour. Okay, sorry.
yeah, so to read about it, we can read Andrea Dworkin. She's one of the best feminist writers. Like according to me, she's the best feminist writer of all time. No one can beat her in feminist literature. So Andrea Dworkin, and she was inspired by Kate Millett. She also wrote about sexual politics of that time. So all of these, they were radical feminists. All of these people critiqued porn and
Okay.
critiqued prostitution. Okay, so I think then what happened is that slowly, because like, do you know that the Gillette advertised, they wanted to sell more razors, so they said women also need to take
Yes,
their
yes,
hair
yes.
off.
I
And
heard that. I heard
yeah,
that they just made up that women are cleaner without hair just so they
yeah,
can
yeah.
sell to a
Sell
new.
more
Yeah.
razors. So now we have come to a point now where we cannot say that don't shave your hair, because that will be a huge controversy, because or shaving hair is not important for women. Then there'll be 10 women only who will come and say, no, you can't say that, I just feel clean, this and that. But you have to criticize, no, you have to criticize their move, and you have to criticize that industry that started it. Even
Mhm.
if you shave today, but you have to talk about how women didn't shave as much as they shave right now. It was just because Gillette had to market stuff, and
I
that is
mean, it's like it's fine, like if somebody feels better, like shaving or not shaving, but they shouldn't make it a point of putting someone down when they
or
decide
not
not to
shaving.
shave. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is the danger.
and we need to say it, and we need to tell people that this is what happened, right? At least women should know it,
Mm.
and they can make their choice.
Yeah.
Like the liberal feminists want everyone to make their choice.
That's where Rad Fem and Lib Fem
Yeah,
kind
and
of
a lot
agree.
of this media also changed. Like before, when they wanted to sell washing machines, they would say, "Oh, women, see your time now. Your laundry time is free time, and this and that." But later, they started saying it is empowering. They were selling the same things. This has changed a few words, and they started. So liberal feminism was easier for corporations and industries to pick up, basically.
Mhm.
So they picked it up. Like for example, this Miss America pageant, women were protesting it. But then right now you can't say that makeup industry thrives, or the whole beauty industry thrives on women's insecurities. Like Fair and Lovely, I think I'm pretty sure you know it. It was very famous in India.
It's famous here also, but it's
Okay.
Glow and Lovely now.
Yeah, it is Glow and Lovely, but it means the same thing, right? And then yeah, and so see that they changed the words
Yeah.
to fit your, now it is empowering if you put it, but it is the same thing, right? You're trying to say, no, you need to be fairer and stuff like that, and a whole, and it is thriving on your insecurity.
Mm.
If you have darker skin, you'll be insecure about it, right?
Yeah, so instead
The
of
whole,
them saying fair, which is kind of limiting people
yeah,
to fair skin, they put glow in. So now it's like you can glow whatever color you are.
yeah, yeah, that is what that is what they do, right? But everyone knows that beauty industry thrives on that. If
Mm.
today women just said we are not insecure anymore, how many companies will fall? How many companies will simply lose all their money? And they, yeah, and and the problem I have it is that at that time during the second wave, liberal feminists were still better than the liberal feminists of today.
Okay.
Like they were still working. They, like, we should definitely give credit where it's due. They worked for equal pay, for equality in workplace. They still fought for women, even though some people were definitely very towards very radical feminism. Liberal feminists still worked. They still did something. But when we come to today, liberal feminists today are so mixed up with intersectionality that they have completely forgotten that feminism is a movement for women. Like, you have to include everything in feminism. Every kind of community should be talked about. You have to speak about everything happening everywhere to every community. First, intersectional feminism was black women criticizing white women for not including them.
Okay.
But it was still women, right? It was still women. It was about including all women. Women who are disabled, women who are of different colors, basically, all different kinds of women. But today, if you see intersectionality, it is just about including everyone, even men. So they'll say, no, this is this kind of man, this is that kind of man. If you believe in equality, so why don't you want to include this man? Why don't you want to include that man? You have to include furries. You have to include every person existing in your feminism. If everything is feminist, then nothing is feminist. Then it is just egalitarianism, right?
Yes, that
If you
is the word.
can't define feminism for, if you can't say feminism is for this group of people,
Mm.
then there's no feminism. Then there's just humanism, egalitarianism, or whatever.
It's just civilization.
Yeah, it is just whatever, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just very, very diluted. Even the liberal feminism today is very diluted. Uh, they, even I would still say that there were still good things like wage gap that was being talked about during this time. And also, like, in India, like I said, I don't believe any proper wave has hit yet, like,
Mhm.
together. But still, like, sexual harassment and wage gap, all these things were talked about in during this intersectionality phase also, right? Now some people call it fourth wave. The lines between third and fourth is very, like, blurry.
Okay.
Because,
It's just continuing.
yeah, it is very blurry because some people believe there was no gap. Some people believe that it is still the third wave only going on. Some people say it is fourth wave. Some people say it is the modern wave. And in this fourth wave, we can say the Me Too movement, we can say, was a huge fourth wave feminist thing. I don't know what it changed, but something happened around that. There's rise of pop feminism, the pop culture, talk of feminism in pop culture. I would put my book in this only, I think.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. And what I like about fourth wave feminism, or whatever currently what's going on, what I like about is women are really waking up and women are going to the basics now, because we hear about 4B movement in South Korea,
Mhm.
right, where women are trying to be separatist, or whatever. No, what some few things: no sex with men, no marriage with men, no babies with men, no partnerships with men. And some people go ahead and also say 6B, like no standing men celebrities and stuff like that also.
Yeah.
So
That's they
yeah,
have
so
gone through a lot, and so
yeah,
I can understand them going to the extreme
yeah.
with everything.
But I believe that their extreme is also what? Their extreme is also not hurting anyone, right?
Yeah, it's
Their
helping.
extreme is just being separate. They're just leaving things. Whereas men's extreme is like, I
They
don't know if I
need to
can say
hurt
that.
someone.
Huh?
They need to hurt someone to
Yeah,
achieve
that is their
something.
extreme. Women's
Yes.
extreme is just like being separate. Just I would just want to leave and just be alone. That is their separate. So 6B or 4B, whatever. I think now, just now, in last 1 or 2 years, I think women are going back to the basics of feminism, and they are realizing how diluted feminism has become, and they are trying to like come out of it. Now I don't know if it is my social media echo chamber that I am in, that is why I feel it. But also we can see the birth rates are declining now because women are refusing to give birth. The marriage rates are going down, so women are refusing to get married. And they are saying that in India, from 2023, sorry, 2030, 45% women will be single.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is great. I
The
mean,
ones who survive.
shit. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, but I mean, they're not choosing, right? They're not choosing to be with a man now.
Hmm. They have a choice. I mean,
I
it's
mean, obviously, a lot of women in India don't, because they are going through arranged marriages, and they have to go through that. That it is not their choice. But women are now getting a little bit agency. They are earning their own money. They are getting a little free in the head also. They're letting go of their subconscious patriarchal conditioning now. So, and that is why I think they're also choosing to not get married as much as. And also, I don't know if it's just around me, but women are just not prioritizing marriage anymore. They're talking about their careers and what they're going to do in their life and their hobbies much more now. So it is great for now. If it goes in this direction, then it's great. But I also feel like a lot of men need to change if they want to live a happy, healthy life. Because whatever we say about incels, they are not happy people,
yeah.
right? If they
I
want
think
to live happy, they'll have to change. They can't blame everything on women and then expect for them to also not be lonely at the end of it.
we have also identified this, like in our community. We started something last week. Actually, we didn't start it yet. We just spoke about it. We created this thing called the Male Re-Education Program. So it's
Okay.
targeted at the men in our community, and also, yeah, so we are helping them to kind of get rid of their patriarchal conditioning. I mean, because patriarchal conditioning hasn't just happened to women, it has happened to men as well.
Oh, yeah,
So
for sure.
we are trying to, like, we're still developing it because obviously it's something difficult to do. So we are still trying to develop the program, and then we are hoping to start it next week and help the men to kind of get out of this cycle of self-harm, I guess, by being patriarchal. Like, there are so many nice people in our community, and they're very supportive of it, and they're willing to try. So I hope it works. And then, like, at least it's a start.
I think it should be forced on all men. I'm like, just take this. You have to take it.
I hope we will be able to have that power in future, but right now we're still growing as a community. And if this program is something that actually takes off, and I don't know if anyone is interested, you can learn more about it from our community. So we are hoping that it'll work because it's just reading it and like kind of envisioning it is very interesting and very intriguing so far. So if it actually works, then it shows that people are capable of change, and it's just that change is not happening because it's not being forced on them, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the conditioning starts from when they are very, very young.
Mm.
We are also
And
when we,
also and also reinforced by
yeah, all the
lack
time,
of, yeah, lack of change around also.
all the time. I mean, I really don't know how, how you have decided to work on it, but great if you are trying to change, man. It's,
No, I mean, in matriarchy, it's like no one gets left behind. Like, we are working towards a matriarchy. We need the support of the entire community. So we're helping because the men have actually asked us. Like, it's not like something we have thought of and we're forcing them to do. So they have also been like, I want to change. Like, how do I change? How do I get out of this? Like, I used to think like this. I want to be like this. How do I get from here to there? So at their request, and
That's great.
so
If they are requesting it, it is amazing.
yeah, so there are people like that. There is hope. Uh, but unfortunately, not in our area of the world as yet. I mean, South Asia is still very much like you described, but this is from the US and UK and stuff. There is
Men
a
from
change
US,
happening.
they have
Yeah.
asked for it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Hmm. That's great. Like, what are you building? Like, you are giving like workshops or like,
Assignments so far?
oh,
It, yeah.
assignments.
Mm.
Oh, that's great.
Like not huge ones, like just small stuff that they can integrate into their everyday life.
That's great.
I mean, we haven't thought about like, we haven't done any testing with it yet, so we don't know whether it works or not, but it's something small and simple enough that they can actually do it without, like giving up or like getting bored or getting too overwhelmed by it. So if it actually works, it's just like small steps in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people think when we talk about matriarchy, a lot of people think that it'll just be the same, but the women will be in power and they'll abuse power. But honestly,
Yes.
I don't believe that in matriarchy women will abuse power like men are abusing power in patriarchy. I don't believe it. A lot of feminists also say that, but I don't believe it because I mean it's my opinion. I've not read it anywhere. So I believe because women give birth and women do the majority of reproductive labor, I feel like women respect human beings more in general. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because even if I don't want to have a child ever, I still have periods. If I don't have periods, that is also a problem. So a lot of reproductive power women hold it, and I think women respect. So if there was matriarchy, I don't think women would just give war orders like that
Yeah, they won't.
because they just respect human beings much more because they know the effort that has gone into creating like one human being and they will not want any other woman's efforts to go waste. I think
And
they'll find
also
it
they'll
better.
find a easier way to resolve the problem,
Yeah,
right?
they find easier ways around it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
so
is what.
that is matriarchy basically. So you describe matriarchy perfectly. It's just that it's going to be fair to everyone. It's not going
Yeah,
to be a reverse patriarchy. But most of the leadership decisions are going to be done by
yeah.
women in charge, and on feminine principles. Um, Femininity is big in matriarchy. Like the femin
Good for everyone.
Yes. So equal rights. I mean, basically like what you said, Radfem, or was it? Yeah. So Radfem is about equal rights, right? Everyone the same.
The
No, no, no.
group,
I messed it up.
the as a group, women, radical feminists look women as a group,
No,
and
no.
liberal
Which one
feminists
was
are
fighting
about
for equal rights? And
everyone fights for equal rights
no, no, no,
only.
no, no. Sorry, sorry.
The
You were saying that
Equal Rights
it's
Act.
diluted. The diluted thing where you said it's diluted and everyone is included in feminism. So
Intersectionality.
okay, so not that, not exactly everyone is included in feminism, but under matriarchy, we consider everyone.
Yeah, but if we have matriarchy, we will not need feminism, na? Then
Yeah, true. But
we will not
I
need
feel
it.
like women will get a few special privileges, like they'll get the last say, they'll get the last word, they'll get to decide.
Yeah.
But it's ultimately for the good of everyone.
Yeah, I think if women are in power, I think it'll be better for everyone. I
And
believe.
if men learn to operate on feminine principles rather than masculine principles, they'll also experience a huge change in their life.
Yeah, they'll be happier.
Very much.
Yeah, they'll not always be in a constant like competition with each other. They'll also be in better relationships, I feel, because when you want to be in a relationship with women just because you want to show her off as a trophy to other men, basically you want to impress other men in society of how your wife is or how she looks and how she's the better trophy wife. It'll be better for them to have connections based on like their actual emotions and how both the partners are equal and they treat each other like as equals rather than just like a person that is
An
there because,
object.
yeah, an object basically. Having a relationship with object is not that satisfactory. Having a
Mm.
relationship with an actual human will be more satisfactory to them as well.
I know this competition thing, like that thing you said, it really like triggered a lot of memories. Like when you say that men use women to look better, like they're
Yeah, they do.
always in competition, like saying, I have the nicer woman, or this
Yeah,
woman is nice. And it's like it's basically they're objectifying women. They don't see women as human beings.
better
There's
trophy. Who has the better?
no respect.
Yeah,
More than equality, I think the respect is missing as a human.
yeah, they don't look at women as human beings.
Hmm. So you were not going to go into the the what do you call it, surrogacy and porn and prostitution industry today. So I hope that we can get you back on the podcast on another day so we can go into those topics.
Want to,
But
because they are very like huge.
I'd love to go into that, like into a deep discussion with that. So just to finish off, I just like to get your opinion on one thing which I think covers most of it. Like, what do you think about those women who are promoting OnlyFans?
I mean, OnlyFans is a pyramid scheme kind of thing where if the women who are already on it, if you use their code, they get some money. So
Oh,
there will
okay.
be a lot of women promoting it.
No,
And
what about those women who say that they are empowered and they are earning money and they are financially free because of it and like they're really into it? There are people who like reduce it to basically being liberated.
I personally don't think that they are liberated, to be really honest. Like I said, the pyramid scheme, if we leave it out, the average money that a woman makes of OnlyFans is very less. And that is
Mhm.
the average. I think it is 100 or $150. It is very less. Only minute percentage of women make very like millions. The ones they show on reels or the ones that come on to these podcasts to talk about it, they are very, the percentage is very less. So most women, they just have their images out there and they're not even earning that much money, and now the images are there, and everyone who says that it is liberation and stuff like that, I think is lying to them, because once something is on internet, then it is on internet forever.
Mm.
Later they will not get jobs, civilian
Yes.
jobs like they call it, they will not get it. And at that time when they will struggle for getting a job, no one will come to save them. The people who said it is liberation will not come to save them. OnlyFans owner will not come to save them. No one will come to save them. And even when, okay, imagine it was successful career or whatever, and then you turn 35, you turn 40, you turn 50. What will you do then? Because in this industry, the younger you are, the more money you make. Everyone knows that. The
Mhm.
one Once you start getting old, you start being expired. You start being expired. What will you do then? Your images are there, you'll not get job, any job you'll not get. It is truth. Maybe they'll say, okay, it's because of stigma that will not get the job, but whatever the reason is, the truth is that they'll not get it.
Mhm.
And then
They
no one
cause
will
the
come.
stigma.
Yeah, and then no one will come to save them, honestly. Like we'll say, okay, don't slut shame them. Few feminists will say don't slut shame them, but they'll not be able to like sustain their lives. So personally, I feel like women should go into important roles. Women should take positions of power, of influence, where we can actually change the world, rather than fall for a pyramid scheme or fall for an industry that is basically earning off of our sexuality, because the money trail always goes back to a man. the money trail will always go back to him, and the owner of OnlyFans is a man, and it will always be a man behind it. So make sure, this is why I say, make sure you study, make sure you go into positions of power. I know there are some desperate sex workers, there are some women who actually don't have options, and I think the government should do something about it. But I personally will not call it empowerment or liberation also.
Yeah, I also don't think so. And I guess for the women who don't have any options, um, I feel for them, and I do agree with you that the government or at least some NGOs should be looking into providing a way out for them, to at least give them some education or some vocational training or something that will allow them to do something other than this. And the worst part is, like, OnlyFans didn't start out as what it is today. It was actually like a platform for subscription-based content. So it could have been anything. You could have been a chef. You could have been someone doing painting or arts and crafts, and you could hide your skill behind a paywall. But just adding that hidden hiding behind the paywall option immediately turned it into this. So that is how the society reacts to
Hidden
being
stuff.
given options like this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't believe they're empowered. And like I said, no one will come to their rescue later, not their subscribers, not the people who said it is empowering, do it. No one will come, and they'll just shame, and then they'll be left out.
Mhm. Okay, Ruchi, thank you so much for taking your valuable time to talk to us today. Is there anything that you would like to say before we wind up?
It was my privilege to be here, honestly. I look at your work, and I look at your Instagram, your website. It is amazing. I think we need more people like you, more organizations like yours, more Instagram pages like yours, more YouTube pages like yours. I'm so happy to be here. I'm up for talking about feminism all the time. I think I go into tangents, but yeah, I loved being here. Thank you so much for having me. It was so
And
much.
we really loved having you, and I'm looking forward to having you again in the future, to be very honest. And
Don't
if
mind
you
me going into random tangents in the middle.
No, we really enjoy it.
Okay.
We love it actually. If you want to read Rochi's book, we'll put a link down in the description which you can check out, and you can follow her on her socials. And I hope that you enjoyed her discussion today. She really went in depth into a lot of topics, and she taught us so much. I don't know, I learned so much today just sitting here than I have in the past 2 years. So thank you so much, Rochi, and thank you everyone for listening. And I hope to see you next time again. Good
Bye.
night, everyone.